नमस्कार मित्रों, आज हम यहाँ भारत अंतर्राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान महोत्सव 2024 के विषय में कर्टेन रेजर प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए एकत्र हुए हैं। इस बारे में आपसे विस्तृत जानकारी साझा करने के लिए आज हमारे साथ उपस्थित हैं माननीय केंद्रीय राज्य मंत्री कार्मिक, लोक शिकायत एवं पेंशन, प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय, अंतरिक्ष विभाग, परमाणु ऊर्जा विभाग तथा राज्य मंत्री स्वतंत्र प्रभार विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी और पृथ्वी विज्ञान डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी। माननीय मंत्री जी का हार्दिक स्वागत है। साथ ही हमारे साथ आज यहाँ उपस्थित हैं भारत सरकार के प्रधान वैज्ञानिक सलाहकार प्रोफेसर अजय के सूद, वैज्ञानिक और औद्योगिक अनुसंधान विभाग के सचिव और CSIR के महानिदेशक डॉक्टर एन कैलसेल्वी, पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय सचिव डॉक्टर M रविचंद्रन, विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी सचिव प्रोफेसर अभय करंदीकर और डॉक्टर शिव कुमार शर्मा, नेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजिंग सेक्रेटरी विज्ञान भारती। आज की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस का प्रारूप इस प्रकार होगा। सबसे पहले CSIR के महानिदेशक द्वारा स्वागत भाषण होगा। उसके बाद माननीय मंत्री जी द्वारा IIST के आयोजन के विषय में कार्ड जारी किया जाएगा। IISF 2024 का वीडियो भी जारी किया जाएगा और एक फ्लायर का भी विमोचन होगा और वेबसाइट का भी शुभारंभ किया जाएगा। कार्यक्रम शुरू होने के पहले सबसे पहले मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं मैडम डॉक्टर N कैलसेल्वी का, वो मंत्री जी का पुष्पगुच्छ से स्वागत करें। साथ ही प्रोफेसर अजय के सूद का स्वागत करने के लिए भी मैं अनुरोध करता हूं मैडम से। पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय के सचिव डॉक्टर M रविचंद्रन जी का स्वागत करें। अनुरोध है कि प्रोफेसर अभय करंदीकर, सचिव विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी का, और डॉक्टर शिव कुमार शर्मा, नेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजिंग सेक्रेटरी विज्ञान भारती का भी स्वागत करने का अनुरोध है। धन्यवाद मैडम। आज के कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत में सबसे पहले मैं CSIR के महानिदेशक से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो स्वागत भाषण करें।
Most respected and honorable Minister of Science and Technology and the Vice President of CSIR, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, esteemed Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, fellow secretaries, CSIR directors, 37 national lab directors who have joined, few of them have joined here in person, others they have joined online. My DSIR family, CSIR family, Team Vigyan Bharti, and I would say extended family of CSIR, which is nothing but the entire Ministry of Science and Technology, because we have representatives from all the departments, be it DST, DBT, Department of Atomic Energy, Ministry of Space, and MOES. Friends, present media, well-wishers of CSIR and the country, Namaskar, Vanakkam, and pleasant morning to each and every one of you. Today is a very, very special day because we are gathered here for the very first curtain raiser event of India International Science Festival for the year 2024. This particular event of IISF 2024 assumes importance from two different angles. Number one is, this is the 10th edition of India International Science Festival. and therefore we'll be so happy to have this decadal celebration this time. Where are we going to celebrate? When are we going to celebrate? How are we going to celebrate? So all these questions will be answered through the announcement which is going to be made by the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology. And that is the reason due to which we are all gathered here today. Friends, when the country is now fully geared up to become as a developed nation in 2047, it's not that easy for any country to promote itself, to get itself escalated from the developing nation to the developed nation, which requires a critical role to be played by the scientific fraternity. We call it as contributions in terms of science, technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. So when we from scientific fraternity, we are spending most of the time in research, and we are living in our own world of science, technology, and innovation, which is many a times restricted within the laboratory arrangement. There comes the Vigyan Bharati. They just take the flavors and the fragrances of science, technology, and innovation, and our technology leads, and they just disseminate it across the country so that the children, the youngsters, the research community, and all the well-wishers and the stakeholders, industry, and all the people, those who are relevantly implementing and taking science and technology to a newer heights, they are also getting benefits through the kind of awareness that they are getting through this kind of service of Vigyan Bharati. Therefore, this IISF is a great Mela, like Kumbh Mela, which is spiritually very popular. Scientifically, which is popular is this IISF, because we are joining hands, the Ministry of Science and Technology. Every year, Ministry of Science and Technology is celebrating this. And this year, we are so fortunate that the opportunity is given to the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. And I should take this opportunity to say heartfelt thanks to the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, who has really given this wonderful opportunity to CSIR. Because in the year 2020, CSIR was the leading organization to have this particular IISF event. And after 4 years, again, we have got this opportunity. So I'm sure you are all here. The entire ministry is with us. And of course, Vigyan Bharati is there, and the entire country is supporting us. With all your support, I'm sure CSIR will be able to take this responsibility of organizing this event as a lead organization, along with the support of all the other ministries and departments from the Ministry of Science and Technology. With these few words, I take this opportunity to extend a very warm welcome to our Honorable Minister. Sir, we missed you during our Foundation Day and in many other events, but today we are extremely happy that you are gracing this occasion of first curtain raiser event. Thank you so very much for your time, and I extend a very warm welcome to you on behalf of IISF 2024. Taking this opportunity, I extend a very warm welcome to all the esteemed guests on the dais and off the dais, and I look forward support from each and every one of you. Thank you so very much. Namaskar.
धन्यवाद मैम आपके संबोधन के लिए। अब मैं माननीय मंत्री जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे IISF यानी इंडिया इंटरनेशनल साइंस फेस्टिवल के विषय में एक कार्ड का विमोचन करें, जारी करें। Thank you, sir, for releasing this card. It says that 30th November to 3rd December, Guwahati, this festival will be organized. Now I request Honorable Minister, sir, to release a video related to IISF 24.
The India International Science Festival, IISF, is a grand celebration of India's achievements in science and technology. It is an initiative driven by the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, as a part of his vision of utilizing scientific research to serve humanity. The 10th edition of IISF will take place at IIT Guwahati, Assam, from the 30th of November to the 3rd of December 2024. IISF 2024 is being conceptualized by the Ministry of Science and Technology and coordinated and organized by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, in association with other government departments and Vigyana Bharati. IISF stands as a symbol of inspiration and collaboration, offering a unique platform for scientists, researchers, students, and science enthusiasts to share knowledge, exchange ideas, and forge new connections. The theme of IISF 2024 is Transforming India into an S&T-driven global manufacturing hub.
The journey hereafter and the journey from here onwards is going to be primarily technology-driven.
IISF 2024 aims to foster a prosperous Bharat in harmony with modern infrastructure and nature, ensuring opportunities for every citizen to reach their potential through science and technology. This year's festival will feature 24 distinct events. Some key highlights include Focused S&T for the Northeast, Museum of the Moon, Global Manufacturing Summit, Students S&T Village, New Frontiers of S&T for Viksit Bharat 2047, Women in S&T, From Development to Leadership, Empowering the Youth, Mission Startup, Minister Secretary CEO Conclave, Reimagining Bharat Exhibition, International Science Literature Festival, Science Through Games and Adventures, Northeast Food Street, LED Light Show, and Northeast Cultural Fest. Join us on this extraordinary journey into the world of Indian science, technology, and innovation. Be part of this historic movement. Explore, learn, and embrace the wonders of science at the India International Science Festival 2024. Visit our website at www.iisf2024.in for more details.
माननीय मंत्री जी से निवेदन है कि वे IISF का 24 का फ्लायर विमोचित करें, इसका विमोचन करें। धन्यवाद सर। अब मैं माननीय मंत्री जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे रिमोट का बटन दबाकर IISF 24 की वेबसाइट का शुभारंभ करें। धन्यवाद सर। अब डॉक्टर आनंद रामाकृष्णन, डायरेक्टर CSIR निस्ट से अनुरोध है कि वे इस विषय में PPT प्रस्तुत करें।
Most respected Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, sir, and all the dignitaries on the dais, invitees, press and media. Just I'm going to give a small presentation about what is the plan of IISF this year, 10th edition. And already Minister has announced the date, venue, and the theme. The theme of this year event, transforming India into the science and technology-driven global manufacturing hub. If you look at this year, Independence Day address, our Honorable Prime Minister mentioned about India should be a manufacturing hub. That is the dream of every Indians. How to achieve that through the science and technology. That is the theme of this year IISF. And this is going to be happening at IIT Guwahati. And today we are doing the National Cut and Riser program. And after that, all the institutional cut and riser program will start from 10th October to the 10th November. And then end of October, we are starting the state inaugural program at Guwahati. And then roadshow from 1st November to 15th November, major cities across the country. And first program of this edition is success of Chandrayaan, landing into the South Pole, that we are going to erect artificial moon at the center of the Guwahati. This is the artificial moon is developed by the Luke, that artist at UK. This is the 1:50 lakh ratio. This moon has been developed. This is the 120 DPI, and each centimeter is equivalent to 5 kilometers of moon. That will be the 10-meter height and 7-meter diameter of the moon will be erected in the center of the Guwahati city. Around this moon, all the scientific departments, including the space, DST, DBT, CSIR, we are going to showcase what is that our contribution to the national building. We are expecting more than 20,000 footfall for this science expo. And apart from that, this year we wanted to exclusively focus on the science odyssey of the 7 sisters, focus on science and technology development in the Northeast, mainly for the agriculture innovation, biodiversity, renewable energy, healthcare, so on. So all the participants from the Northeast, but all the delegates are who are going to talk about this area is from the outside the Northeast. That's what we plan to do that. Another event is major event of first day afternoon. We wanted to call all the state science and technology ministers and the CEO. Most focus is on this year is how to make India as a manufacturing hub. That means most of the industries has to part of this IISF. That's what we are planning to call all the industry captains on this round table to discuss how to reduce the gap between the research organizations, science departments, and the industry. This roundtable is going to address that. And when we are talking about wanted to make it about India as a manufacturing hub, means presently 25% of GDP contribution come from the manufacturing sector. How many sectors are major contributing this 25%? We wanted to talk about that from the agri, biotech, chemicals, material, heavy industries, and pharma and health. All the industries we are calling. Beauty of this is that all the CSIR lab in line with one of the ministries of all these major sector. So we are going to collaborate with all the CSIR lab to call all the line ministries and the secretaries, and what is the gap, what is the need of we need to work on particular area of the research. We are going to do that on this event. Apart from that is a regular program of IISF. This is one of the famous program of Student Science Village, the new Nalanda. There, students can play and create the science exhibitions, interactive demonstrations, science workshops, science parliament, innovative challenge, and education expo. All this is going to happen at new Nalanda as students. It starts from the 8th standard to the 12th standard. Apart from that, new frontier in the science and technology for Viksit Bharat, new area of the research on the AIML, big data analysis, space technology, cyber security, all this area we are going to discuss on particular area. But this edition, we are allowing 20% exclusive from Northeast participants, remaining 80% attendance from the other outside the Northeast. That's what we are planning to do that. And we know that we need to empower our women leaders in the science and technology. That's what exclusive women leadership summit, meet the CEOs who are leading the countries, leading industries, and the entrepreneurship. Everyone we are calling them is exclusive for the women leading inventors meet. And ideas for Viksit Bharat Science and Technology Hackathon. This is the mainly focus on creating the hackathon from the ministries. We wanted to address all the ministries of the government of India, for example, PLI scheme. What is the feedback mechanisms? Where is the problem? This all the questionnaires will ask from the ministries. Ministry will float the problem. The problem statement will circulate among the kids. And we collected state-wise, then central-wise, top 100 ideas taken into the final round, and the top 10 finalists will be taken into the 24x7 hackathon. And after the solution has come, final top 10, that will be given back to the ministries we are going to follow up next 1 year. That is also planned to do that. This year, Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar Award has announced that Vigyan Yuva Sandiswar Patnagar prize winners were invited for this conclave to address what they have done in their scientific journey, and also address to the young inventors and as well as young scientist awardees on this conclave. Apart from that, again, Vigyan Ratna and Vigyan Sri awardees also invited for this conclave to meet all the participants, and also celebrated scientists we wanted to invite. And this is going for the TED Talk type. Only 15 minutes they are going to address, another 15 minutes they can interact with the scientists. Very soon we are going to open the registration. You can address, the list of the scientists' name will be there, who wanted to interact any scientist. That's what the registration open. Again here, 30% of the registration exclusively open for Northeast scientists and researchers. The Gurukula, this is the another one regular program of Vijnana Bharati as well as our ISF. And this is for mainly for aspiring educators and teachers workshop from the schools, from till MSc teachers. We are inviting them to the workshop. From all 4 days, we are conducting a different workshop, how to use the new teaching tools, either chemistry or physics or maths. Most of the teachers from the IISF, IICs and IITs, we are going to teach them how the new tool can be used in the school education or the college education. And Startup India, India has showcased last 12 years how the startup has transformed in India. If you look at today, we are the third largest ecosystem in the startup. Almost 120,000 startups are registered, 110 unicorns in our country. We wanted to invite all these successful startups into this conclave to interact with the industry participants, new inventors, and then students community, how we can take forward this startup conclave. The reimagining the Bharat exhibition, our DG ma'am always used to say we have to make the technology for the game-changing technology, first in the globe technology. That we wanted to showcase not only from CSIR, DST, DBT, all the scientific department, the technology will be showcased, B2B meetings and interacting with the industry participants. 2 exhibitions planned this time. One is that Heart of the Gaugati cities, that is open for general public, and this exhibition exclusive for the industry participant to interact with more with the industry. Then next area is oceanography and ecology. This is the earth science department is going to talk about 2 days exclusive session on marine ecology, early warning system, quantum technology on sea and allied areas. One more area also this year, it's an international science festival. We are already touched with some of the Nobel laureates and also foreign speakers. We wanted to have a network with South Asian countries and how to make it this interaction with the other countries along with the various scientific department of our country. Vijnanika, science literature facilities, art of science writing, and interaction with the science and fiction, science communication, the social media, science communication, the mother tongue will be discussed in the conclave and the different part of the country. We are planning to invite all the national language people who are working on science communication will be invited to discuss. And the nuclear energy here, how to use the nuclear energy for the healthcare, agriculture, how to make it a nuclear energy for the business model. Another conclave is the National Social Organization and interaction with the institution. A lot of social organization works in our country. They mainly work in the grassroots level. There they can take our technology to the root level. That is the main purpose. We are inviting the National Social Organizations to understand what are the new technology can reach out the unreached population. And the science safari, the kids can play with the toy to create the science. And then media conclave, mainly we wanted to showcase what are the recent advancement in all the scientific department we have done, that we wanted to showcase to the media, and also how to communicate mass media from our science outcome has come. And the final day of the conclave, this is the one we wanted to invite all the vice chancellors of the universities and IIT directors, CSIR directors, DBT and DST Institute directors, and IISF NIT directors. This is one of the new area we are thinking this year we wanted to float, and all the scientific heads of the secretaries we're going to address mainly for ANRF and new education policy. What is the government for next 1 year, what we expected from all the educational research institution. This conclave is going to conclude all the technical events in the ISF in 2024. Apart from that, not only technical one, we wanted to enjoy the taste of the Northeast. So we are going to make it a Northeast food street. Around the pond we are going to set up, and everyone can taste what are the different food of Northeast. The morning 10 to evening, free of cost, we are going to supply Northeast food. You can enjoy the food. Apart from that one of the beautiful lake is there in IIT Gauhati. There the laser show will be showcased from the Aryabhata to now Chandrayaan. How we as science is evolved in our country will be showcased. 3-dimensional laser show will be there in that lake, and also whole day tribal community of Northeast will be showcased their talent in the name of Northeast Symphony. Morning to evening, you can enjoy the music, food, and as well as science. Thank you so much, sir. And I'd like to thank Honorable Minister and Trust CSR to conduct this year program. And also PSA sir has suggested this year theme for ISF. Thank you so much, sir. And all the secretaries and the CSR family to support all these things. I hope all will join together, make it a wonderful event of this year, November 30th, ISF 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anand Ramakrishnan, for a comprehensive presentation. Now, I request Honorable Minister, sir, to address the media who are present here to listen to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Oja. Director General Dr. Kalai Selvi, Principal Scientific Advisor Professor Sood, Dr. Ravi Chandran, Dr. Abhay, Dr. Shiv Prakash ji, members of the fraternity. I don't think there's much left to be said. It's been a very elaborate presentation by Director NIST, and whatever could have been left unsaid was done by Dr. Kalai Selvi. But I must assure her, as she was mentioning, that I missed quite a few of her events, but I'll be there for the Kumbh. So at the outset, I have to compliment, we are here for the 10th edition, and incidentally, this tradition of holding this kind of a festival, India International Science Festival, was also begun by this government. And I'm glad that we are now completing 10th consecutive festival in this chain. It's become now almost a tradition, and it's got also institutionalized. But what is very significant, not often possibly noticed or said, is that it is in fact presenting a whole of science concept. We have all the science departments in the Government of India coming together to hold this event, including the atomic energy and space, who are not visible here, but because they are headquartered elsewhere. And I think this is something which was quite a departure from the practice earlier, before this government came. At least the two departments of space and atomic energy hardly came on the same platform, because they were stationed elsewhere. And if I may say so, it's whole of science and also whole of government. You have Mr. Oja also. And beyond that, it's whole of society. You have Mr. Brahma Prakash there, representing the civil society, the NGOs, and the opinion makers in the area of science. So I have to compliment and also thank Vigyan Bharati for their cooperation. And of course, IIT Guwahati, I think, is going to be a very appropriate venue, because one of these IITs which has come up very well of late. And theme, as was mentioned by Director, transforming India into SNT-driven global manufacturing hub. In fact, in the times to come, we are already, as far as biomanufacturing is concerned, I think we are already number 12 in the world, and we are number 6 in India Pacific. So we have started that ascent. And in the times to come, the future growth story of India is going to depend hugely on our manufacturing capacities, because when we talk of the rising economy, if you try to give a scientific thought to that, we were fragile 5, now we are first 5, but how are we going to make it to 4 and 3, and then they rise to that pedestal? The value addition is going to come from that. And incidentally, CSIR is the nodal department this year, and CSIR is also going to contribute hugely, because the paradigm of the economy is going to shift from being confined not only to manufacturing but also to the recycled idiom, which would involve a lot of contribution from biotechnology, from CSIR. So we will have all the manufacturing being done in a new culture. We've already started having animal-free milk, and I'm glad one of our startups in Bengaluru is also producing an export quality. So they're doing very well, making a good fortune out of that. So maybe next festival they'll be able to provide you a vegetarian mutton. It's for the convenience of Shiv Prakash ji and others. So we firmly believe that just as the last industrial revolution happened in the 1990s and primarily was driven by IT, the next one is going to be driven by this new idiom, which would be biotechnology, bioeconomy, CSIR. So in that direction, this theme would also be able to showcase some of the initiatives which have been taken by this government, which are very futuristic, unlike the culture that was being followed by the earlier governments. I think before 2014, we usually adopted what had been practiced, tried, and become a success story elsewhere in the world. So we are no longer now in that frame. We are actually taking a lead. Like quantum technology you mentioned, we are already among the 5 or 6 nations. We are among the first to have launched Bio E3 policy very recently. Rajesh, incidentally, is not here today. The biotechnology for economy, for environment, for employment. And as I said, that's going to be the main driving force in the next, in the ascent of India's economy. And of course, number of CSIR success stories now being talked about. The Lotus 108. Yeah. And I think I'm glad that they have now started becoming visible, in spite of the fact that the media did not give much attention to us. But we have actually intruded into the media. The Lotus 108 found a place in Amitabh Bachchan's Crorepati program. So that means that we have now reached a place where we can actually make a space for ourselves, even if we are not so welcome and not considered that high a priority as far as newsmakers are concerned. At that point in Lucknow, I visited, there has become a very popular selfie point. Then, of course, the tulip, which was offered at the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, is also one of their makings from Palampur. Lavender is again a story which Prime Minister has been talking about. Purple Revolution, spoke about thrice or 4 times, both in public meetings as well as in Man Ki Baat. Their steel slag is again making history. Incidentally, it's happening in Northeast, and Northeast is the place where it has done a very wonderful performance in negotiating the difficult topographies for connectivity. Anusandhan is the other one, which Dr. Abhay was just now talking about. We had the first ever meeting. So I think there's not much to talk about and to discuss because, yes, and space, he said Chandrayaan. I'm glad the theme is so wide, beginning from Chandrayaan to Science Odyssey to Made in India and Make for World, Nari Shakti, etc., etc. So this is also going to be the year between this festival and the next festival, we would have an Indian human being in space. So that also makes it quite eventful. By the end of this year, we had thought it will happen in the next year, beginning, but maybe now we are trying that before. Somnath incidentally is not here, but before the end of this year, we might have the final dress rehearsal in the form of a female robo Vayomitra going up in space. So once she accomplishes all the tasks, including coming back safe and being retrieved from the waters, then next year, possibly before the next festival, we'll have much to showcase in that regard. Also, though we had an Indian earlier also in space in 1980s, that was a Soviet mission. So, and of course, mission startup, he said, it was again this government. Prime Minister made a clarion call from the Red Fort, Startup India, from 350, we want to almost 1.75 lakh. We are now number 3, as he was mentioning. And not only that, even the areas which were hitherto considered not very promising as far as startups is concerned, also become very potential areas for the future economic growth. One of them, for example, being space itself. We had just 1-digit space startup till the new policy was adopted. So we can talk about that also. Now space has become a very lucrative sector, both for employment and both for startups. We have nearly 300 of them. And our first generation startups are now become world class, and they have also graduated into entrepreneurs, those like Skyroot, etc. So these are upcoming areas also to generate rozgar, because you can't be providing a salaried job to every individual, but these are the areas which are going to contribute hugely. So through the medium of science, we are going to serve a larger cause of the nation and also contribute hugely to the making of the future economy. And Vigyan Bharati is our natural partner and also our interface with the society, और आपके सहयोग से हमारा जो संवाद है समाज के साथ वो भी ज़्यादा सुचारू हो जाएगा. एंड दिस ये भी एक नया प्रयोग था जो आरंभ में कुछ लोगों को लगा कि ये कितना चलना है कितना नहीं चलना, कि 2 कदम चलना 1 कदम पीछे हटना, लेकिन धीरे धीरे मैं ये सोच कर चला था कि वो बुला लेंगे मुझको, लेकिन उन्होंने बुलाया नहीं और हम चलते गए. So I'm glad that we have made a good headway. It's become a very compatible partnership, because usually such experiments don't happen in government circles. लेकिन जब हम करेंगे बात whole of science, whole of government, and whole of society, how else you can? And I am of the firm belief that if you have to move on to the #1 economy, it has to be an integrated march. Can't be moving separately. Even, in fact, I'm not even in favor of having the demarcations between the private and the public sector. And one of the important features is that we are now going to Northeast, which has been a very priority area of this government. And Prime Minister Modi, right from day one, has been emphasizing that. And that again has a relevance when we talk of rising from #4 to #3 and beyond. Such areas and regions of the country which have remained either unexplored or underexplored are the ones which are going to contribute to the economy. So those regions saturate ho gaye, which have been fully exploited or explored, may not be able to contribute more because we have to add value. But these are the areas, and earlier governments possibly did not. For example, the Purple Revolution is born from Jammu and Kashmir, so huge Himalayan resources. So all these Himalayan states are going to make a contribution. The marine resources. So again, Dr. Jitendra is there. The Deep Sea Mission, Prime Minister spoke on 2 consecutive Independence Days. So our entire value addition is also to a large extent going to be from the Himalayan resources, from the marine resources, which are our natural resources. We've been there for centuries and centuries, but they were not attended to. And I think this is now the time to realize the young startups or the potential areas, because somewhere it got stuck that it is all about IT, because the thing started from Bengaluru and we got stuck there. But our natural resource is agriculture, our natural resource is ocean waters. And Northeast is going to be also relevant from that point of view. And Guy, 30% of your registration you have kept for Northeast, but I'm not sure that's okay. But what is more important is to have more and more of registration for others to visit Northeast. So when I first was put in the charge of Northeast, I said everybody keeps saying, bring Northeast closer to rest of India. So I said, why doesn't anybody ask me, bring rest of India closer to Northeast? Because there's so much of it that we have to learn from Northeast. Their sources of livelihood, their fishery resources, their natural resources, quite unlike even their culture. And one of the earliest observations when I made in 2014 was that in high school you are taught to write an essay on women emancipation. I said that will lose relevance if you are born in Northeast, because the other way around. Early morning, 6 o'clock is the women folk running all the fish shops. The men folk are still, they have late nights and wake up late. So there's so much to learn actually from Northeast, which is a very progressive culture. So I think more important would be that those who come from outside get to know of what it is all about, because that is an area which was not very much exposed earlier. And of course, futuristic areas, as he said, the climate change, food security, sustainability, development. Because what I feel is that when we grow further, we have to have a good projection of our natural inherent resources which are exclusive to us, because that is going to add value. But at the same time, we have to also be able to globally be competitive in the global themes. It's just like you may be very good at playing kabaddi and gulli danda, and that's your domain. But to get recognition, you have to learn playing cricket as well as the Australians do or the Englishmen do. So now this is the time, because now we are envisaging for ourselves a role which is going to be much higher than others. And of course, science for people, science for children, science for students. We've been very successfully experimenting on these themes in the last two festivals. Particularly, I've been emphasizing you last time, और इस बार भी हम करेंगे विज्ञान भारती के सहयोग से, जहाँ तक बच्चों का हो सके. सरकारी स्कूल के बच्चे, देहातों के बच्चे, तो होता क्या है कि सुबह सुबह वो सैर करने जाता है भ्रमण पे, तो उसको कोई बोल देता है मेरा बच्चा हो गया आकाश ट्यूटोरियल, तो उसके दिमाग में आकाश घुस जाता है. And that the first negative influence begins from the parents. तो मैंने तो ये भी कहा था पिछली बार. In fact, we also experimented that with Rajesh when we held the first ever biotech startup. One day would be reserved for students, but the condition would be that each of the high school student has to be accompanied with at least one parent. या उसका माता या उसका पिता है. क्योंकि जब आप उसको पूरा दिन लगाएंगे, इतना समय देंगे, तो घर जाके जब सुनाएगा, बोलेगा साहब शिव प्रकाश जी तो अधिकारी है यार, तो अपना काम करो. तो उसके पिता को भी बराबर का जागरूक करना है. So I think we'll try to do that also. We'll try to plan it out. At least it may not be very democratic to make it compulsory, but at least we make a fervent appeal that it will be welcome if the children, especially these adolescent age children, class 9, 10, are accompanied at least by one parent or one guardian. And at the end of it, we started also getting feedback from last year. So this time we'll try to improve on that. The director can also, cooperate. We can have an anonymous performer. Let the children write what they want. Let the others write, the stakeholders, so that they don't feel hesitant in pointing out where we lack, so that we can improve upon, because that's how we'll be able to institutionalize it. And आज तो PI भी मेहरबान हो जाएगी, क्योंकि प्रिंसिपल डीजी हमारे साथ हैं, लेकिन आगे के लिए हमें कुछ अपनी ही व्यवस्था करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि समाचार पत्रों में इस तरह के. तो इसलिए we'll try to have a good social media campaign. We'll set up a separate cell. रंजना जी is there. एक विधिवत तरीके से एक अलग से एक्सक्लूसिव व्यवस्था हो. सोशल इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का हमने आज ही सुबह किया कि we'll prepare a सूची. तो सोशल इन्फ्लुएंसर्स से भी सोशल मीडिया पे कमेंट्स आए, और कुछ राइटअप्स भी, इन्फोग्राफिक्स, वीडियोस, और ये जो सक्सेस स्टोरीज हैं जिनकी कुछ थोड़ी थोड़ी मैंने चर्चा की, इसके छोटे छोटे वीडियो हम 2-2 मिनट के दिखाते जाए, तो उसमें साथ में कोई कैची फ्रेज क्रिएटिव दे कि टू लर्न मोर अबाउट इट, बी एट गुवाहाटी ऑन 30th November, समथिंग लाइक दैट, जिंगल्स जैसे किए जाते हैं बॉलीवुड में. सो दैट आई हैव लर्नड इवन फ्रॉम माई ओन एक्सपीरियंस इवन इन पब्लिक लाइफ दैट आजकल इतनी टेक्नोलॉजी हो गई है that you don't need to depend actually on the conventional media, regardless of whether they cover you or not. You have sufficient means to get yourself covered if you have a setup of your own, and it gives you a lot of confidence. In fact, this is one story. Dr. Kalai Selvi's Purple Evolution hardly found any space in the conventional media, but they built up such a campaign in social media and elsewhere that they found a place in the tableau in the 26th January parade, and it got into the notice of the highest echelons of power. So we'll build it up so that now it's already 1 mahina bacha hai. So the director can be incorporated. You can even operate from Guwahati because everything is online. Even while sitting in the same office these days, we hardly move to the next office. So many a times when I ask some of the scientists, why are you traveling abroad? Don't make it a tourist trip. My only impolite contention is that even when you go there, you may not be seeing each other. You may be sitting in separate rooms and talking. So it's as good as sitting in a building here and sitting in a building there. So I think it's become much easier, and we could plan out, we could engage even professionals if required. And I'm sure we will be able to excel from where we were last year. All the best, Dr. Kalai Selvi. You are, of course, you've always been the leader amongst all of us, but others are also there with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for addressing the media. Now I request media persons to ask the question. आप अपना नाम और अपने संस्थान का नाम बताएं और प्रश्न भारत अंतर्राष्ट्रीय विज्ञान महोत्सव 2024 के बारे में होना. तो 3 नंबर.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Minister,
अपना परिचय दें प्लीज.
I am Naresh Sagar. I run a Sagar Media Company. So my question goes on. You have named it as an international science festival. So I would like to know the name of other countries, if you have any. And then, you know, in science, the elementary particles, the waves, and the, you know, space particles, elementary particles, and the waves, they play a very important role because all the developed nations, they try to, you know, get to these places where energy can be erupted. So how far we are going in these three sectors? Thank you.
No, I think we have quite a respectable participation from the international faculty as well. Dr. Kalai Selvi can give you some detail about that. The confirmation has already started.
Sir, actually, we were just waiting for the date and the venue to be announced and the theme. So from now onwards, we'll just get accepting the latest letter of confirmation from overseas. So maybe in another 3 weeks' time, we may be able to tell you how many countries and who are all participating.
$252.
I, Harish Upadhyay from Readers Messenger News Network Group. Sir, by organizing IISF 2024 in Guwahati, whether you want to convey the message of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji that the Northeast region is not less than any other region of India.
इसमें दोनों ही चीजें हैं. Of course, they have tried to follow a pattern going to different parts of the country. So if in a given year they are in north, then the subsequent year the venue is south, then east, west, north is like that. So they rotate. But of course, you are right, this is very high on the priority of Prime Minister Modi, and I think it's worked very well. Its northeast is no longer as alien as it appeared to be in 2014. Particularly if you look at the tourism industry, you look at the aviation industry. There were a time when the youngsters from Northeast felt hesitant even coming to Delhi. Now you travel in on any air route, whether it's in Deccan, Hyderabad, it's Goa, whether it's west, or even up north, invariably you'll find one or two members in the crew from Northeast. So that barrier is no longer there, and I think that's one of the biggest contributions of Prime Minister Modi and his government.
10.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Anil Handa from Loktantra Ki Shaan. I have a question on energy. Do we have a breakthrough? Because the norms are normally guided by the SDG and ESG, whom everybody follows. So are we one step ahead, or are we following the same trends?
No, we are, I think, very much at par with what the other nations are doing. It's no longer that we are lagging behind, because we are evolving. The entire this sector is evolving, and it's going to be at multiple levels. I think this was the government which gave priority to the solar energy. Now we are also into the nuclear energy. The expansion program of the atomic energy also happened for the first time. The single cabinet meeting approved 10 reactors, which was unprecedented. So we are moving in that direction. Of course, our contribution of the alternate sources of energy to the overall energy is still not very much, but we have committed to be zero by 2070.
The gestation period is long. So how do we...
See, the point is that maybe because we started off a little late, because it was this government which actually took a serious initiative. But as we move on, the gestation period may also reduce, because we are now continuously also improving on our pace. Professor Sood would like to add something.
If you look at solar, the progress which we have made in putting non-fossil energy into the grid is really huge. It's almost like 30-40% now, and we are meeting the target which were announced by Honorable Prime Minister for going to net zero carbon. So in solar energy, even the manufacturing of cells and the systems has started, and you will see those products very soon. So that is a huge, tremendous progress. And green hydrogen, which mission was announced last year, it is as much ahead as any other country, whether it is in production, storage, or utilization. So I don't see any sense of getting behind in some of these areas.
I think what has happened in the last 10 years is that there has been an enabling milieu provided by the political dispensation. There was no dearth of the scientific human. I know how many in this room know that the first ever solar cell was produced in India way back. Can you guess? 1977. 1977, almost 50 years ago. But there was not much of headway made because we didn't have that kind of a patronage available from the level of the policy makers or from the level of the political dispensation, which has happened after Prime Minister Modi came in. So then we started making a quantum leap or entered into a quantum phase of moving ahead. So I think, as Professor Sood said, we are no longer behind. We are, in fact, in certain areas, we are even ahead. Our ISRO was set up in 1969, the year when Neil Armstrong landed on the surface of the moon. But today, we have landed on the southern pole before them. So now we are in a competitive mode. And we have also realized, very rightly, that we have to live up to the global parameters, global benchmarks, as to the benchmarks laid down domestically, because that will not give us global presence.
279.
Namaskar, sir. There is a conspicuous absence of defense and our great achievements there and a great anticipation there. Is there any reason behind it, or is it by design?
It's not by design. Maybe the theme does not specify the term defense. लेकिन आज आकर के ये सारे जुड़ते हैं उससे. Now, quantum technology is going to contribute hugely to defense, to security, to health, primarily. Similarly, ठीक है. No, I think we can take note of that. It's a constructive suggestion. He says you make it a little more visible. So in our exhibitions we can do that, because the children feel fascinated, as he's saying, like they feel fascinated by Chandrayaan.
Yeah, they would be setting up the platform. Area.
थोड़ा ज़्यादा visible हो जाए defense. Yeah, we can do that. No.
धन्यवाद आपको अपने प्रश्नों के लिए. और अब मैं डॉक्टर वीएम तिवारी, डायरेक्टर नीस्ट, से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव करें.
Honorable Minister of Science and Technology and Vice President CSIR, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, respected Professor A.K. Sood, PSA Government of India, other dignitaries on dais, of the dais, ladies and gentlemen, joined online and offline, Namaskar and very good afternoon to all of you. Expressing gratitude reflects our deep respect and appreciations for consideration, support, and help, which is considered very reverent in our tradition. And I, therefore, am honored and privileged to propose vote of thanks today. We all are aware, and as briefed by Honorable Minister, that India International Science Festival was started a decade ago as a new convention of communication bridging between scientists, science policymakers, industries, and school students and Aam Aadmi for Science for All, popularizing science, showcasing Indian scientific achievements, encouraging youth aligned with the initiative such as Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India. And therefore, the India International Science Festival becomes the central space for the scientific endeavor in the country. First and foremost, we would like to express our gratitude to the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, a champion of the promoting science and innovation in the country for Atmanirbhar Bharat, and who allowed us to organize the India International Science Festival in Northeast India, where the percentage of youth and rural poor are sizable. And training of youth to serve the rural people will be the most important for the Viksit Bharat. His thoughtful direction and supporting this event will have a long bearing on progress of Northeast India in particular and country in general. Sir, we are grateful for your continued support and mentoring of scientific enterprises in India. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Professor A.K. Sood, PSA Government of India, for his gracious presence and time to time word of wisdom for organizing this event, which have elevated the significance of the event. Our deepest appreciation to Dr. M. Ravichandran, Professor Karandikar, and senior officials of Government of India for joining us today and extending all possible support for organizing the event today and at IIT Guwahati during 30th November to 3rd of December. We also extend our gratitude to Dr. Kalai Selvi Aya, our beloved head of the CSIR family, whose vision has driven this initiative and supporting in all ways, big and small, for this festival of science. It is not easy to organize an event at the place where there is no CSIR institute, but she showed her confidence in the team CSIR, for which we are greatly indebted. Our special thanks to the Bibha team, Dr. Shiv Kumar ji, Praveen ji, Arvind ji, and the organizing committee, Dr. Anant Ramakrishna, Professor Ranjana Agrawal, Dr. Ramanuj Narayan, the other CSIR, NIST staff, headquarters staff, and volunteers, IIT Guwahati, which agreed to have the space for organizing this event, Agriculture University Guwahati, and other academic and government organizations of the Assam government. Last but not least, my sincere appreciations goes to all press and media attendees whose participation and enthusiasm have made this event meaningful and vibrant. With this, I once again thank all of you for joining this curtain raiser and take the opportunity to invite you to the gateway of Northeast India for the prosperity of India. and Viksit Bharat. Thank you. Jai Hind.
अब मैं आप सबसे अनुरोध करता हूं कि भोजन की व्यवस्था 4th फ्लोर पर कॉन्फ्रेंस हॉल में है, कृपया ग्रहण करें। थैंक यू।
So all are invited for lunch.